What is up, party people? Thanks, Brian, filling in for me. Travels and travails. I want to thank my good friend in there, Bell, as well. He took care of my little dogs and my cat. Thank you, sir.
I had a good time doing it. They were actually a lot of fun.
Man, they'd send me all kinds of pictures. Like, check it out. Bell and I, we're all at a strip bar. It's going to be awesome. Oh, Bell and I he took us shooting guns.
It was weird, though. I kept having to claim they were service animals.
That's right. We robbed a bank.
It's like deja vu. Awesome. Like, you can't bring those dogs in here. Like, they're my service animals.
They're all service animals. People... So I go to the wedding. So if you guys didn't know, I went to my little sister's wedding, which is always entertaining because my sister is, as you guys heard earlier, a little bit of she's a tough nut. Not going to lie to you guys, she's a bit of a tough nut. And love her to death, but she ain't the easiest to deal with. And so I go to the wedding, and a lot of people want to talk to me about politics. They know what I do. I don't want to talk politics, all right? I'm here for my little sister. We're going to have some fun. I don't want to talk about politics. And they wanted to talk politics, and I'm like, fine. So I talked a bit of politics. Immigration was a big deal, and recession was a big deal. And everybody to a person all said the same thing. As long as there's an end to this in sight, that there's an end game in sight, that they're doing something that, hey, it might struggle, it might hit us a bit at the beginning, it might kick us in the ground for a little while, but there's a reason for that. I'm willing to take one step backwards to go 2 or 3 steps forward. And, that was the big thing with, does Trump have that? He talked about the potential for recession with Maria Bartiromo.
Let me stay on the economy for a moment, because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other night.
I've only been here,
but are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition, because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great.
Is it potentially going to be great? Yeah. But you have to be with the people. And by that, I mean, you have to go there. You have to explain to the people. You have to be as forward, as open all the time. You have to talk to them and say, look, guys, there's a bigger reason we're doing this. There's a bigger reason than just us having a fight with Canada, right, or a fight with Mexico. We're doing certain things because we understand there are things that we have to do to try to balance some of this insanity that's going on, to try to move forward. We're trying to clean up a mess that didn't happen overnight. And part of that is going to be us tightening our belts. And I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. If we want to be treated like adults, when things are talked about, we've got to act like adults. We don't often do that. And I mean that when it comes to everything from Social Security to Medicare and all of this stuff, that we have to have serious conversations about what we do in the future with these things. Not just that, not just the waste in certain areas, but how we're going to have to go about combating a lot of this stuff. And yeah, if we're going to take certain things on, including the tariffs, you got to let everybody know what the risk is. And you got to let everybody know not only the risk of what's happening, but what the end game is going to be. The reason we're doing this is X, Y, and Z. Be simple in telling people why we're doing this. Now, do I think that these things are going to cause a recession? I think we were in for something anyways. Okay, I've always thought that. We were probably overbought in the stock market. We're in a position right now where, I would expect us to have a pullback. The difference is between now and potentially other times is, can we pull back a little bit and then, much like a slingshot, take off much faster, as opposed to pulling back a little bit and then inching forward inch by inch by inch? No, are we going to be able to take off? Is the landing going to be hard, but the takeoff going to be absolutely quicker? I think that's a possibility.
I actually spoke with the chief economist at Moody's today, Mark Zandi, who says that the recession risk is growing. He now puts it at 35% versus 15% for a recession early next year. He says this could happen if the Trump tariffs are put in place and remain there for at least a few months.
And everything is negotiable. right? That's the whole point. You're doing this. You're negotiating some of these things. Some of it, I mean, again, the Canada stuff, they can go back and forth. By the way, Canada I don't know if you guys saw, China put a ton of tariffs on Canada over the weekend for agricultural stuff. And this was a reciprocal move from October, but somehow in the article I was reading, they blamed Trump. I'm like, wait, what? China goes and puts tariffs on you over agriculture. And somehow Trump is a part of this because they believe that he's going to cause a trade war. I'm not quite sure how that is going to go. But there's going to be some issues. There's no doubt about that. And are you prepared for those? As long as you know what they are, as long as you know how to accept, okay, this is why we're doing this, I think most people are fine with it. But there always comes a point where, as I was talking to people over the weekend, a mix of people, Republicans, Democrats, progressives, I don't cares, who ask questions, but at the end of the day, they really don't care about a lot of stuff because they lived their life in that moment. But they were all fine with some pullback and some recalibration. But to a person, they said, look, if we get through summer and we're having real issues, that's when the worry's going to come. And I don't think we're going to get to that point. I don't think these tariffs are going to last long at all.
Steel and aluminum tariffs could go into effect. They're slated to happen on Wednesday. Think about all the things steel and aluminum go into, even the packaging of a lot of products here, canned goods. That could end up costing consumers more, and ultimately the steel that goes into cars.
Which is a big deal. And it's not an overnight thing, too. That's the other thing. Everybody thinks, well, we could switch everything over here and we could just open manufacturing plants. It's not that simple in certain cases. Some cases, it's easier than others.
They say it's just not possible to stay in business and continue to pay these tariffs without making customers pay something higher. They also tell me they don't have an alternative. They can't just turn around and start producing things here in the United States because things cost more to produce in Mexico. Either the manufacturing facilities aren't here or the supplies aren't here.
So there's a lot that goes into it. But we'll find out. This is a long-term play. But a lot of people, that was a big deal. Recession and immigration. People asked me a ton of that. And the DOGE, by the way. I got a ton of questions about the DOGE. Like, I'm a DOGE expert. And I don't know if you guys saw this today, but U.S. aid, Marco Rubio came out, 83% of U.S. aid is now been completely cut. They are going to handle the rest. About 1,000 contractors and programs through the State Department. 83%, though, is gone. Gone. No more. No more coups for you. I read a great article as I was flying that they estimate in the last that they can safely kind of trace back to USAID and the help. There's going to be between 6 and 8 coups that have come through the help of USAID. So think about that. Just want everybody. Not only do they help people with malaria and HIV, they'll also overthrow your government. Isn't that nice? Isn't that kind? 83% gone. Those people are going to lose their mind. What are they going to do? They're civil servants. They've given so much of their life. So much of their life. So much stuff to get to.
And expected nothing in return.
That's right. They work for free. That's my favorite thing. Do you know what I've done? Do you? Do you understand what I've done?
Yes, you have cashed the check.
I'm like, you do realize you got paid, and you got paid well. Like that accountant the other day was crying. Do you know I can make more money in the private sector? No, you can't. No, you can't. You work 30 to 40 hours a week at a government job that you never thought you could get fired from with an amazing pension, and you make 6 figures. You're not making that many other places.
Because if you could, you'd be doing it.
That's exactly it.
Not with benefits like that, man.
God, no. Those benefits are amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just insane, some of those benefits. And some of those people, because the way they work it, too, do you guys know how they work some of those benefits, even at the state level, is you save up all of your, like, vacation days. So, like, for the last 3 years. And that way, when you get to a point where you're going to retire, they'll take, like, the last 3 years. So you throw your vacation days in there. And so you're in many cases, your retirement then will balloon to X amount of dollars, even over what you were making. The game was so they got caught. Man, I got some great stuff from Randy Weingart and all these people. You know what's funny? It always makes me laugh about this. Never once have I heard somebody, even on the Democrat side, go, what if things got better? Like, okay, what if, I know that everybody thinks, well, if we get rid of 50% of this workforce, the world's going to fall apart. But what if, stay with me here, it got better? What if it was easier to get certain things? What if I didn't have to wait in line for hours because technology caught up? What if the money that was cut actually went to programs that worked? They never could take the opposite. Like, I'm willing to say, hey, this DOGE thing, I'm excited to see where it goes. But do I think for a 100% certainty it's going to be perfect and it's going to work out great? I have no idea. We're going to see. But I can at least be open-minded enough to go, there's a possibility it could be great. There's also a possibility it could go south. It's usually somewhere in the middle because humans. But they never can ever say to themselves, what if? Never. Ooh. How's daylight savings time treating you guys?
I'm digging it.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Okay, see, here's the thing. I like the later, sun. That's great.
Yes, sir.
I just wasn't a fan of it this weekend because I came from Arizona, which, by the way, we didn't have daylight savings time. We were smart enough to go, this is stupid.
That's
It
right.
is stupid.
You came out of it into it.
Yeah. I mean, we just looked around and go, this is the dumbest thing ever. Let's just keep the time the same. I was talking today. I did the Chicks on the Right program this morning, and I was saying North Korea tried to change. They wanted to have their own time zone, so they tried to move the clocks back 30 minutes. They're so stupid.
Poor Kim Jong-un. He just doesn't think things
Even
through.
the Chinese went, all right, this is a bridge too far for even us, dude. We don't care that you do wacky stuff, but this is crazy. But I love the sunshine outside. I think it's awesome at night because I always like the fact that, if I wanted to go play golf or pickleball or whatever, I'm wide open. I can go do it.
Yeah.
The problem is I can see where you don't want your kids going to school in the dark, which is always the big complaint for people.
Yeah.
And the fact that Trump is 50-50 on it is weird, too. Pick a side, dude. Now, Bell.
He's going to troll everyone, man.
He is. But he's only picking sides on the 80-20. Which way are they going? It's 80%? I'm on that side.
That's more numbers.
That's a bandwagon. What bandwagon am I on? Which one's at 80? I'm on that one. Oh, my God.
I just think the entire process is stupid, and we need to pick a time and stick to it.
Yeah, I think most people are at that point now.
Your kids are going to be fine if they have to get up a little early and it's still dark. They'll understand. They'll learn.
You think?
Yes.
God, look at Bell. So mean. Which side do you err on? Do you want it later?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, me too.
That's me.
I do now anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't mind whenever I woke up at stupid o'clock every day to come to work in the dark.
No.
But now that I'm on this side, yeah.
Well, because it's depressing, man. You go outside and it's
dude.
dark, and it's like and especially for me, because during certain times of the year, I would go to work because I was doing the morning show. It's dark, and I leave and it's dark, and this sucks.
Yeah.
You know how weird it is when you go to a movie at like 3:30 and you come outside and it's dark after it was light. You're like, what the hell happened? How late is it? That's what our life was like.
Especially if it's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, it's time to pick a lane. All right, everybody. A lot of stuff to get to. We're gonna get
Hey, you know what? I need to say this just for my own edification. If you want this to change, call your senator and your House members and tell them to make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. And do it now. Do it today. Tell them we sent you. Use promo code Chad. Oh, speaking of that, we got a lot of stuff to do.
20% off of the time change if you use promo code Chad.
You can, we'll do 30 minutes in between. That's how much we're going to save you guys. It is the Chad Benson Show at Super Talk 99.7. Lean. I ate way too much this weekend. I just want to let everybody know that. When you do tend to do that, and that yo-yo dieting thing that sucks. You know what yo-yo dieting is? You drop 20, you put on 25. Drop 25, put on 35. You don't want to do that. Stop it. I do it with lean. Thank goodness for that. I forgot to take my lean this weekend. Lean is amazing. All right. Doctors, scientists, put this thing together, and it's going to help you stop the yo-yo dieting, which is awful for you. And by awful, I mean risk of stroke, heart attack, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, all increase because of the yo-yo dieting. With lean, it does 3 amazing things. First, there's lots of science behind it. Maintains healthy blood sugar, controls appetite and cravings, and takes that body fat, turns it into energy. It is great. Stop the yo-yo dieting, start to lose weight the right way, and do it in a way where you don't need a prescription, you don't need to have shots. It's nothing more than a few pills, supplements every single morning. It's great. Save now, lose weight smarter, save 20%, and get 20 pounds off. You know what I mean? If you do it right. Go to takelean.com. That's takelean.com. Use my code Benson20, takelean.com.
There is an electricity standoff with Canada. That story and more at 12:30 on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
We know that daylight savings is a shift in the sunlight, and the sunlight is a real big cue for our circadian rhythm, that inner clock in our body that controls cellular processes, bodily functions. And you would wonder, could that 1 hour shift really affect so much? Well, yes, it can. The research shows that actually there's an increase in heart attack, stroke, blood pressure, heart rate, inflammatory markers, hospital visits, and missed medical appointments. There's also a decrease in alertness, poorer mental health, and a general awakeness feeling of cognition. And then we think about things like increases in fatal traffic accidents. We've seen that go up by about 6%, even stock market volatility. So the list goes on and on.
Why are we doing this? Nothing there sounded exciting. There's going to be more heart attacks. There's going to be more issues with driving, alertness. People are going to, it's just cats and dogs living together. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's like the end of a pharmaceutical ad.
It is. You may experience sudden death, uncontrollable diarrhea, which is the worst kind of diarrhea.
Yeah, we don't need that time change diarrhea.
No, gosh.
No.
There's never a good time to have diarrhea, is there?
No.
It's never like, You know what? I've chosen to have
There's just
diarrhea
really,
now.
really bad times to have it.
But it's just so funny. It's like, when time change goes forward, people can't drive. I'm like, what? Yeah.
I think I'm allergic to the time change.
It does affect people. I get it, right? It's not a good situation. People are grumpy. Again, we're not in a war, so I know that some people seem to think this is a good idea. Now, this lady she's a doctor. She has ways to fix this issue this week.
So we can start to shift our bedtime a little bit earlier. So move it up by 15 to 20 minutes. The day after and the few days after daylight savings, get out, be in the sunlight early in the morning. Avoid that excess alcohol or caffeine before bedtime and screens, so good sleep hygiene. And then generally, we think about napping as maybe being a bad thing, but that first week you can take some naps as long as they're earlier in the day, Michael, before 2 p.m., about 20 minutes. And if you have control of your schedule, maybe don't schedule important meetings or events in those first few days of the week.
There you go. Problem solved.
Man, got to cut down on alcohol. Why is everything good bad?
I don't know. It's the same thing this weekend, man. All the food in front of me, like, this is healthy. I'm like, well, I ain't eating it. It tastes like crap. Like, it may have tasted good 50 years ago when I didn't have choices. I got choices now.
That's right.
This is good. It tastes like crap. And everything that tastes like everything that's good for you, the only way to make it most of the time taste good is like, this is an apple. You know what's better with this? Peanut butter on my apple. Tastes way better.
With sugar on top of the peanut butter.
Better yet, just throw the apple away and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's what Jesus wants.
Yes, sir.
It's just, so you give up alcohol. Now, I'm fine with the meetings because meetings are stupid.
Yeah.
Can we all agree on that? We all just raise our hands.
Yeah. No meetings. No meetings.
I've worked for places. They call more meetings. I'm like, I feel like this could have been an email that I could have ignored.
Why do I have to sleep in this meeting when I could have ignored an email?
God, it's just so ridiculous. And they'll tell you, by the way, if you work for a place that has a lot of meetings, chances are it's not a good place to work.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're always trying to solve an issue. But we're solving issue of daylight savings time. So we're pro moving the clocks where they are right now, just leaving them.
Just leaving it right, just like this.
Just like this.
This is what I want.
This is good. And as Bell said, right? And he knows, just like Pope, it ain't easy. Being a kid, it ain't easy, but it's easier than being a Pope.
You got that right.
And you can, you go to bed, you're going to have to go to school. It's going to be a little dark. You'll be fine.
Life does not end just because you have to get up when the sun is not up.
Yeah. The old days, they used to do that. By the way, old days. I used to tell the kids that. Old days.
Old days.
Your ass would be out of bed early, milking the cow long before you got your butt to school. Okay?
Yeah.
Should be lucky. Now you get up and you play on your Facebook or your MySpace or Friendster or whatever it is your kids do nowadays.
Farmtown.
But I text with my buddies. I won't have time to text. Life's tough.
Yeah. So
you'll get through it.
Just letting you guys know that. A lot of stuff. We're going to squeeze into some DOGE stuff that's crazy. We've got some AOC stuff that's interesting about men and boys and how she feels the rights doing men and boys. Well, they're just not doing a good job. And they're failing them. And I say, ha! And some of the DOGE stuff and the go after Tesla is amazing. It is the Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7.
$12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. How about a tariffs update? Sherry Preston reports there's an electricity standoff with Canada over the power provided by Ontario to some Americans.
1.5 million Americans in the states of Michigan, Minnesota, and New York currently get their power from Canada, which is now adding a 25% surcharge onto electricity that goes to the U.S. The average cost believed to be around $69 added onto the electric bills of those affected. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the trade war needs to end, and he won't hesitate to cut off the electricity completely if needed.
Right now in Tennessee, we're monitoring reports out of East Tennessee. An employee at Dollywood had to be airlifted to a hospital after the Pigeon Forge fire chief said they were dispatched this morning to Dollywood for a rescue of someone who was trapped. This was around 10 o'clock Middle Tennessee time this morning. No other details. Here in Nashville, Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says police have little suspect information to go on as a woman fights for her life after a bullet from a drive-by shooting struck her in the chest as she was laying in bed.
At least 16 shots were fired along Trutland Place just after 11 o'clock. Those bullets went into two sides of a duplex, striking a woman in the chest as she was lying in her bed. Officers had to break into a window to get to her. The other side of the duplex was also hit, but the two people living in there were not hurt.
An East Tennessee lawmaker proposing a bill requiring high schoolers be taught about the state's safe haven law, which allows parents to safely surrender newborn babies without the risk of repercussion, no questions asked, when the door is open from the outside of one of these air-conditioned safe haven boxes. 911 is immediately notified and the box locks after the door is shut. Right now, Tennessee ranks as 6th in the nation for the number of safe haven boxes available statewide. The bill's sponsor says by adding this to high school curriculum, he hopes kids will understand their options if they find themselves in such a situation. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy bee. Don't want plumbing to go out at the wrong time. When's that? Always. Same thing with your HVAC, especially in the summer and in the winter. Busy Bee's got you covered. First and foremost, it is about the famous Beehive Club. You join it, therefore you're part of the club. You go to the front of the line. So if they're really busy, they're swamped, it's Turkey Day. Oh my God, Uncle Bill blew the toilet up. We can't get it. Don't worry, they're coming out. Right to the top of the list. That's what Busy Bee is all about. They're going to take care of you from top to bottom. They're not going to sell you anything you don't need. They're going to come out. They're going to give you an honest job in an honest way. Nathan and everybody over there is going to take care of you. They're amazing. So whether you need maybe just, hey, I got slow plumbing. Somebody come out, put a camera down, see if there's something going on wrong. Maybe you've got issues with your HVAC and you need your air duct cleaning. They've got specials, and they're going to take care of you. Join the Beehive Club and keep this number always around just in case. Call 775-7833. That's 775-7833. Or visit them at BeehiveHVAC.com. a lot of people not thrilled by they don't know which way to go, right? People are very like, if you think you like this time right now, you're like very much this time. There's not a lot of people who are, I can go the other way, right? It's like either you want it late or you want to try. They're on it. For me, I like the later sunlight. I'm a big fan of that. And as one person who's a bus driver said, look, I picked the kids up. It's dark in the winter.
Your kids got to stop holding up progress.
God, no doubt. I know they're the future. Whitney Houston told me.
Well, and why are they so much shorter than we are?
I have no idea either. Same thing with midgets. Excuse me. Midgets. Little people. What did I say? Midgets twice?
3 times.
3 times. I can't believe I said midget 3 times.
4.
It's not very nice. And one of them's probably going to text me. One of them. And they're yelling at me. I'm kidding. It's a joke. We can all laugh at each other. By the way, did you see the memes this weekend of J.D. Vance?
No.
Oh, my. He's meme-tacular.
Looking like George Floyd?
Oh, the memes, he was everything. Because apparently his face was on the sphere, right? It's been everywhere.
In Vegas?
Yeah. But it's been everywhere. Like every single thing, every famous movie, he's been the dude, right? He memed himself as Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I saw one where he was all 4 members of Van Halen.
Yes. It was called Vance Halen. Because he's enjoying it. And there was a big article, I think it was in the Huffington Post or Salon or one of the Atlantic. It's like, how dare they do that to him? And they respect it. The right just doesn't quite get it, blah, blah. It's like, shut up. Get over yourself. We're having a good time. If you cannot laugh at yourself, that is the first place you look at somebody where, like, if they have no sense of humor and they can't laugh at themselves, that's a tough thing.
That usually means they're a serial killer.
Yeah. In fact, or a communist. By the way, Vladimir Lenin. Lenin was famous. There's a book out about the fact that he had 0 sense of humor and that he hated humor and he hated laughter.
Stalin wasn't big on the funny either.
No, he wasn't big. It wasn't like people used to walk away and go, man, that's Stalin, man. He cracks you up all the time. He's just fun.
And I don't mean just when he has one of his, guards smash you in the head with a nightstick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, we got to do that story later of that track runner who got beat down. What was that about? Was it daylight savings time? I hate it. Oh, Chad. Randy Weingart is awful. For you guys who don't know who she is, I think...
Head of the biggest teachers union.
Yeah, she was... what was it? She was on... I think it was... I'm trying to remember who it was that called... It was one of Trump's old cabinet members who said she's the most dangerous person in America. She's the most dangerous person in America. So she was out crying and whining and moaning about, oh, my God, the world's coming to an end. The usual stuff that she does because she's Randy Weingart. But she was talking today about the insanity of Elon and them cutting stuff. And like I said earlier, everybody always goes to the negative. Nobody ever, like the Republicans will go to the positive because, that's what you do with your own team. But nobody on the other side can't just say for a moment, maybe it does work. You don't know.
If you look at the Constitution, it's the Congress who appropriates. It's the Congress that makes laws. The president signs it and executes the law. But it's really only the Congress that can abolish the Department of Education. So, but what the president can do and what they're doing, and you see it in all of the, with the chainsaw that Elon Musk used, over and over again in these last month or so, they can make government basically ineffective, not work by 1,000 cuts. And that's what they're doing. So if you essentially fire the entire staff or 80% of the staff of Social Security and somebody needs to get their Social Security card, they're not going to be able to get it in a timely way.
How do you know? Honestly, nobody ever asked the question, well, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that they're not going to implement something?
Because cuts.
Because cuts, that's right. Because the 12 people that have to handle that piece of paper for it to go from point A to point B, which will take weeks to do, those things will no longer be there. How do you know that they're not going to implement certain things that are going to cut down the cost, A, of doing business, but most importantly, aren't going to streamline point A to point B so we can get to point Z? Because right now what happens is we have those 26 points, point A all the way through. Instead, why can't we just go from point A to point Z? Just get it done. Why can't we? She continues because, again, it's always about school.
If you fire everybody who's doing, hurricane watch, you're not going to have hurricane watch. If you fire everybody at USAID.
Hold on a second. Wait, so if we fire everybody at hurricane watch, we don't have hurricane. So I want to get this correct. So you mean to tell me that all of those people who live in Florida and some of these other coastal places who have radar as well will no longer know if a hurricane's coming? I just want to know if that's what you believe to be true, Randy.
If you fire everybody at USAID, the farmers who are basically selling their foodstuffs to USAID because they don't have a market in the United States, they're not going to be able to do that. And the same is true in terms of education. If you fire everybody or you make it non-feasible for it to work, then none of the laws that are supposed to be affected or effectuated by the department will work.
So worried about what? Her power. You do realize, and this is something I don't think people realize, 20 to 30% is the amount of money that makes it to the classroom from the feds. 20 to 30%. A vast majority of your money that makes it into the classroom, which isn't enough anyways, which is only 40 to 60%, comes from the state. So think about that for a second. The state still only gets, let's say, 50%. Some states it's more, some states it's less. But they're worried not about the money. They're worried about the power. They don't want to lose the power because that's the most important thing. The power. She's not worried about losing if they pull this and we don't exist. If you could still allow her to keep her power, she'd probably be fine with that because that's what it's about.
And to your point about red states versus blue states, more of this money goes to red states. So I've said to our folks in red states in particular, go to your school board because states and localities run schools. Go to your school board. Ask them what's going to happen. How much money are we going to lose if we don't have Title I, if we don't have IDEA? And how is that money going to be replaced? Is it going to be property taxes raised in Jackson, Mississippi? Is it going to be property taxes raised in Montgomery, Alabama? How are we going to have that funding that helps kids in schools?
How do we have it now? Because if a vast majority of your money goes to administrative costs, to NGOs, to being pushed from point A to point B that has nothing to do with anything other than hiring more administrators, why do we need you at all? We don't. We didn't need you before 1980. We don't need you now.
You know what she makes a year?
Oh, I'm sure $300,000-400,000.
500,000.
500,000. It's a good job if you can get it.
And most of that's, I'm sure, coming from tax money that the unions get from government.
Of course. So much of what it is. And she gets all upset because it's her job. They're coming after her job. If they were coming after a agency inside of the government that they couldn't stand, I don't hear standing up going, we need more money for the military. We need more. No, this is about them. Oh, but you're going to take away from the kids, which is the biggest bunch of crap. Man, I came from a state, and Chris and I were talking about how to, somebody said, Chad, you keep saying going south is you shouldn't say going south, say going down. Going south is a good thing. Well, there we used to call it going south. Here I'll say, California fell apart.
Whoever told you that is wrong. We say going south here all the time.
Well, this guy said it. Or I'm assuming it's a guy. If I'm wrong, it could be a midget. Why are you laughing, Bill? What'd I do? How many times was that? 5. Okay, 5. But the California is great at always rolling out the kids for something. Always rolling out it's about the kids. It's about the kids. All these states are. It's never about the kids. And it's never about the teachers, by the way. How about this? We cut administrators in half. We streamline with technology the jobs that they're supposed to do. We then take that money, put it into the classroom, which means paying teachers what they're worth, holding them accountable so they can get to 75, 100 grand a year with bonuses. Who's with me on that? Hell to the yeah. 100%. This bunch of malarkey about, oh my God, it's always about the kids and who's going to do this, who's going to do that. I got news for you. I'm with Rahm Emanuel. He said, I don't want to hear anything about the bathroom, talking about the trans issue, until you guys fix what's going on in what? The classroom. Kids can't read. They can't do math. They don't know science. They can't figure out where up is down. They don't even know what the daylight savings is all about. They can't tell you the 3 branches of government. They're like snap, crackle, and pop. I don't know. That's a dangerous person who cares singularly about the power. It's not about the kids. For 500 grand a year, she's trying to protect her ass. I get it. But enough of it. It's about the kids. Who's going to teach the kids to read? I don't know. We're asking that question now. And we spend more money per pupil than any other developed nation. Except you know where we spend that money? Anywhere but the classroom. Damn Skippy. Don't get me wrong. Let's see here. Who is the woman I just joined late? That is Randy Weingart. She is the leader of the teachers union, the federal side of stuff. She leads everything.
And she's also on the Democratic National Committee.
Yeah.
She's a member of the DNC.
She is, yeah. She is, very powerful in the Democratic world. But she's fallen on deaf ears, even by a lot of Democrats. And one of the big issues has been, I'm telling you, and I said this when it was happening. When COVID went south and they started closing schools, I said, let me tell you something, because my on-air partner when I was out in Arizona, his wife was a teacher. Hi, Lynette. I love her. She's great. But he was very defensive of teachers. And I said, let me tell you something that's going to happen. You know who doesn't forget? Parents. Parents are going to see what's happening. Parents are going to get a real snapshot into what's going on in schools, and they're going to get frustrated. And they're going to get frustrated at the teachers' unions, maybe not so much at the teachers, but what they're going to do is they're going to keep that in the back of their mind. And when time comes across the country to raise taxes for all kinds of things when it comes to the classroom, parents don't forget. And they haven't. And Randy Weingart, for years, she had just a wide open path to run amok on all kinds of stuff. And that has fallen on deaf ears to a lot of people. Coming up, a lot of stuff. Are we saying goodbye to BLM Plaza? No way. Black Lives Matter Plaza's going away?
Getting jackhammered.
Oh, my God. That is a shame. Who's going to... Why?
You know what this means? It means the government doesn't care about black lives anymore.
They don't. Speaking of that, oh, God, we're going to do that next, actually. Love is Blind. You know what that show's about? No, it's not about blind people being in love.
I was getting ready to say, is that a new reality?
That would be hilarious, though. Coming up next, 2 blind people put together in a room to find out if they like each other.
And they're both really ugly.
They're both ugly, but they don't know. If you don't tell them, we won't. Coming up next, it is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch Gold. Man, gold. Smart place to put your money. Uncertain times? Check. Potential recession? Check. Inflation? Check. Weakening dollar? Check. Diversify. Simple and easy. Diversify. Birch Gold's going to help you with that. Text the word Benson to 989898 today. And our buddies over at Birch Gold are going to help you out. They're going to send you out the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era, as well as a investor kit. Let you take a look at all the things that are happening with gold and why gold is a great place to diversify. Simple and easy to do. No high pressure. They're not going to try to say, yeah, you got to do this, this, and this. They just want to show you why protection with gold is so amazing. Because when things go south, I'm telling you guys, it is a great thing to have gold. It's been around forever and a day, and it's not going anywhere. Get the ultimate guide to gold in the Trump era. Free book with a forward done by Don Jr., as well as a investor kit from them. See what they have to offer and why diversification in this market and in this world is so key to a long-term stability when it comes to your retirement and what you work so hard for. Text the word Benson to 989898 today for Birch Gold.
Drivers in Rutherford County, we got a problem on 840 westbound. It's going to be right before Veterans Parkway. You've got a stalled vehicle. It is blocking the through lanes. It's stop-and-go traffic starting at 24 because only the right shoulder is open. Had a legal setback for the Menendez brothers and an electricity standoff with Canada coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Love is Blind. We've just talked about BLM, Black Lives Matter. Why we bring that up? Because Love is Blind. It's a show where they put people together who have sight. I guess you could be blind and be on the show, but essentially it's people that have never seen each other before, and they're going to get married. Oh, my God. This is incredible. This dude got dumped at the altar.
I love you so much.
Obviously you don't.
But I've always wanted a partner to be on the same wavelength, and so today I can't.
So he can't. Just can't. Man, that sucks.
Can't do it.
Couldn't figure that out a week earlier.
No, I know, right?
I'm sorry, but I don't want that to be misunderstood. I still love you, and everything about you is amazing. And I care about you so much.
I care about you too. And I love you so much.
Okay, this is where it gets pretty sad for him.
And I know I want to stay with you and keep growing our relationship if you'll let me.
We'll see.
Oh, maybe.
That was a no.
Now, this guy dodged a bullet and a half because afterwards she got into the limo with her mom. And they started talking about all kinds of stuff.
I know that the connection we have is so real. But we talked about a lot of the values that I hold so close to my heart. Making this decision, my mind is telling me I can't. I knew the whole time coming into this, the time frame, that's not, I feel like I know him, really. Yeah. I remember, I asked him about, Black Lives Matter, and I'm no expert. But, when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I've never really thought too much about it. That affected me, especially in our own city. How could it not? How did it not make you think about something?
Oh, my God. I know I'm just a liberal white woman, and I don't really know a lot about black things, but I know Black Lives Matter.
And he didn't agree with that. He didn't immediately say he was on the same page as I was.
You know what he didn't agree with? Anything. You want to know why? Because you could look at the guy and go, that guy doesn't pay attention to damn thing. He likes breast and baseball. That's it.
Breastises.
Yeah,
that's it.
I asked him to, what his church's views are, and he said he didn't know. And so then I watched a sermon online about, sexual identity. Okay. And it was traditional. I told that to Ben. And he doesn't really have much to say about it, I want him to think about that stuff. Sometimes I did wonder if it was surface, fun, carefree love that we had. Equality, religion, the vaccine.
The vaccine.
He just told you everything you wanted to hear, honey.
Yeah, he wanted the breastises. Let's be honest. He wasn't lying. Do you love me? Right now I do.
Don't know about tomorrow. Let's live in the moment.
The more you're talking, though, huh? The more you're talking. I wish this show was called For Deaf People. Deaf love.
I think Ben is probably going to be better off.
God, she's insufferable. She's insufferable. I'd rather go out with Casey Anthony. Oh. Isn't she a legal advocate now? I'm kidding.
Yes, for
LGBTQ.
Whatever Trudeau said.
LGB.
Yeah. Oh, God. We got a lot of stuff coming up next hour. What? I don't know. Loch Ness Monster, did they find it?
Nessie.
It's about time. Talk a bit about that. We got more on tariffs.
Turns out she's Bigfoot in a scuba
gear. Not a midget. Oh, Chad, you're the worst. A lot of stuff coming up. Happy Monday, everybody. Do you know what time it is? It's an hour ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. A reminder, drivers, you've got a stalled vehicle blocking the through lanes of 840 westbound right before Veterans Parkway in Murfreesboro. It's going to be stop and go from the I-24 interchange. A legal setback for the Menendez brothers. Former L.A. District Attorney George Gascon wanted the life without parole reduced to 50 years to life, which would make them eligible for parole immediately. But Zoreen Shaw says the new district attorney, Nathan Huckman, feels differently and will fight it.
This morning, the bombshell decision surrounding the Menendez brothers case. The new LA district attorney saying he would oppose habeas corpus, the argument that the brothers did not get a fair trial in the 90s, and claiming the brothers have told 5 different versions of their story over the years.
We actually saw stuff that was lied about before the killings, at the time of the killings, and in the months and years afterwards.
The DA saying his team has done extensive research, and there is no evidence that a letter recently found from Eric to his cousin alleging he endured sexual abuse from his father is authentic or relevant for a new trial.
Well, that resentencing hearing going to be set for March 20th and 21st. Canada slapping a new tariff on electricity it provides to the United States. Here's Sherry Preston.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says new rules will require any generator selling electricity to the U.S. to add an additional 25% surcharge starting now. The charge could mean an additional $69 added on to the bills of 1.5 million Americans in New York, Michigan, and Minnesota who currently buy their power from Canada. Ford says it doesn't matter that President Trump has postponed most Canadian tariffs. The electricity surcharge will remain.
Another federal government shutdown looms. Stephen Portnoy reports the House expected to vote tomorrow on a GOP-crafted spending bill.
Beyond a few tweaks cutting some domestic spending and boosting it at the Pentagon, the bill mostly keeps government agencies funded at their current levels. But House Democrats, who typically vote to avoid shutdowns, say they won't be on board this time because there's nothing in the bill to prevent future DOGE-related cuts. Should it pass on a party-line basis in the House, at least 8 Democrats in the Senate would have to sign on to break a filibuster and avoid a Friday night shutdown.
And the CDC plans to study whether vaccines cause autism. A spokesman for the Department of Health and Human Services confirmed the effort in a statement over the weekend. The department now run by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has expressed skepticism about skepticism about vaccine safety. Here's Ann Flaherty.
HHS is not giving us a lot of details. I did ask, what exactly are you going to be studying? Who's going to be leading it? They didn't answer that question. We don't know exactly how they're going to be managing this. Kennedy has said that he has his own research and his own science that he would like to show people. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we do know that he is going to take a fresh look at this.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Turn now to an attack during high school track.
On the track, only a week.
Janae Norman here with the story. Good morning, Janae.
Hey, George, this is a crazy video that you. This is a crazy video that you have to see. It's unimaginable.
Junior Kaylin Tucson.
Meanwhile, Kaylin's parents say that they're. Meantime, guys, because Kaylin's been recovering for a week, they're home today.
Oh, I hope
Pictures
so
been.
We did Love is Blind, that crazy person. A lot of people chiming in, man, that guy dodged a bullet. Who would do this? You know who would do this? People are willing to do anything to get on TV or to go viral or to get famous. People are idiots. They are. They're willing to do anything. I don't know why. I don't know, like, taking to social media or to do any of these things to potentially look like an idiot to somehow have some sort of fame. It's I don't get it. Some people are like fine with that. And some people, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by wackadoos who are willing to do that. Whether it's somebody who's like, they go, like, I don't know how many people over the last, and I get them every day sent to me, over the last, couple months, sent me stuff like, ooh, they want to kill Elon, or they want to do this to Elon or Trump because they're evil and bad. And they're dressed like some sort of bizarre, I don't even know what they're a woman with a beard it's crazy. And, we should definitely kill Elon because he doesn't serve a good purpose. Are you nuts? Are you nuts, barista? I say that because we know you're a barista. If you can even hold down a job. Because quite frankly, Jim Jenny, you're a distraction. Chad, how do people feel about the DOGE? I love the surprise when people find out that DOGE isn't like unpopular. They want it to be unpopular.
This to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa, Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and DOGE should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, but these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support. I was truly surprised by this, Kate, but the numbers are the numbers.
Well, the numbers are the numbers. The numbers bear out, hey, government's too big. These people have too much power. People are sick and tired of being stuck in bureaucracy land. They're sick and tired of, and this is, by the way, this is a reflection, I think, not just on the federal side of stuff, because the local side of stuff is also something that frustrates the hell out of people. I think it's just a bureaucracy and overspending of government altogether. And when people say Musk is unpopular or billionaires are unpopular, most people, even people on the left, billionaires, they don't care about somebody's success the way that government does. Especially the left. The left cares about your success because they would like a piece of it. That's their goal. How can I get a piece of your success and trickle it down? I always hear all the time, corporations are greedy. I'm like, oh, are they? Yeah. They don't pay their fair share. So wait, let me get this right. Corporations are greedy. Corporations who employ lots of people. Corporations who pay lots of taxes. Corporations who provide a service or a product. They're bad. And they don't trickle down the way you want. So your idea is to take as much as you can from them so you can trickle it down to a portion of the people. But a lot of that's going to go to other things. No, people don't hate billionaires and success. They're frustrated at maybe their chance to have opportunities, and they're frustrated because they feel like sometimes they're up against the wall. But as much as they would like you to believe that it's billionaires' fault that people are stuck in that position, no, they just want their opportunities. That's what they're looking for.
Well, there is a view that cuts across Democrat and Republican of people thinking that Washington is too big, bloated federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, those are drain the swamp is what people run on over and over again. How do they feel? What do they think they're actually cutting?
Yeah, what do they think they're actually cutting? Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs. But that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here at 42%, according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos poll. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Musk and DOGE, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending, not necessary programs that Democrats are arguing.
And that's what they want. Democrats want more programs. More programs. How can government efficiently spend your money on themselves and give you a little bit back of your money in programs? How can they do that? And Elon is the perfect foil of all the things that are evil in their minds that they can go after. And so the latest thing now is we're going to destroy Elon. So you can go to, I think it's Tesla Takedown, which is this website where they show you how they're going to take down Tesla. But I want you to listen to this guy. He, by the way, suffering, I think, a little bit from low T, but very excited about taking down, Elon.
You need to sell your Tesla. I'm not going to warn you again, okay? Those of us in the resistance are not going to stand for these hate mobiles driving around providing free advertising for the man who has subverted our democracy and spread disinformation and hate speech and supported the fascist takeover of our government, and who has taken the food from the mouths of millions of people around the world by destroying U.S. aid and has betrayed Vladimir Zelensky. That is how serious this is. And you continue to pre-order these Teslas, you continue to drive and charge these cars.
Give him a deep breath. He's just like, let me tell you guys something. You guys don't even know. We got to stop him from doing stuff. Took money out of people's mouths. This is what crazy's all about. Here's a person who sits around all day, lives in a world of nothing but emotion. Okay? He's angry at the world. He feels like he's got nothing going on, and mostly because he's got nothing going on. Nothing. Like he's the reason there's bullying, and there should be. Bring back bullying for this guy. This guy, because he wants to destroy. His goal is to destroy Elon Musk. Not thinking, if you did destroy Elon Musk, right? So here, we're fighting for the people. So you destroy Elon Musk. How many people do you put out of work because of that? You're not thinking about that because they cut a program that you think you like, which is, by the way, USAID, which you've looked nothing at. You've seen nothing in reality outside of, hey, they save people for HIV and, malaria. That's all you think they do. And they feed people. They didn't get rid of all of the programs, but they got rid of a lot. But your goal is to destroy a human being who is adding far more value to the globe than you and I ever will, because you're emotional.
They're making this man, Elon Musk, more and more powerful, infinitely powerful. That is not okay. It's not okay. We are sending the Tesla stock to zero. Zero, Elon. We're sending your company to zero. This time next year, Tesla might not even exist. That is how serious we are about resisting this company and showing the world what it means to support Tesla. This is about good versus evil. These cars are not okay.
Do you remember when Alyssa Milano got rid of her Tesla? And then she bought an EV Volkswagen, and people had to remind her that the Volkswagen was started by the actual Nazis.
Yeah, she said she didn't want to own a car made by a fascist. And then she goes and buys a Volkswagen.
This guy, he's like, these are hate mobiles. You know what would be great? What if Batman had a hate mobile? Quick, Robin, to the hate mobile. And it just drove down the street just yelling racial slurs. Chad, this is stupid. These people exist. They're out there, and they're not out there in just never-land. They're destroying things. They're going out and destroying property. They're burning down places. They're at, my little brother he's got a Tesla. He's got a second one. I asked him, I said, dude, do you have any issues with your Tesla? He goes, nah, I guess I want to, though. I go, what? He goes, I want somebody to try it. I want somebody to try something. I go, why? He goes, something break their jaw.
Or just run them over with the car.
Yeah, he goes, I go, really? He goes, oh, yeah. Because he played in the minor leagues. So, and he could scrap. He can scrap. But he goes.
Minor leagues of what?
A hockey.
Oh.
He's a hockey player, eh? He like to throw down, Big time, eh? Oh, I like to fight, you know what I mean? And he's like, he goes, I've had people flip me off and stuff like that. The funny thing is, though, when he bought it, because his Tesla's pretty new, he's got one of those S models. And I was talking to him, he says, you know what? It's the Cybertrucks that get the most crap. For whatever reason. the Cybertruck gets the, because I think they equate that to if you're buying a truck, automatically you're a bad person because you hate the environment. And so I don't know why, but he said the Cybertruck people, when he was at Tesla buying his stuff, he said they're the ones who get the most crap. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. That is weird. A lot of you are chiming in on the Elon thing. People keep going, how is selling your Tesla to somebody else hurting Elon? You've already bought it. And they're cool cars. Look, I am not a car guy. And when I mean I'm not a car guy, I'm not a car guy. Like, I don't care about cars. If it can get me from point A to point B, that's great. I don't, if it was a Pinto, it's phenomenal. Pacer. I would totally drive a Pacer. I think we all recognize that. I would, but I just don't care about cars. But, I would admit, man, my little brother's car, have you ever been in Belle, have you ever ridden in a Tesla?
Yeah, a friend of mine in Dallas has one. She let me ride in it with her, but she wouldn't let me drive it.
Did she hit it and go fast?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so his new
Giddy
model,
up.
It took off in a way where you're a G's, your eyes kind of roll back.
It shoves you back into the seat.
It's insane.
And it's so weird because it's not that
there's no noise.
An internal combustion engine doesn't do that, but this does it in complete silence.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's almost like your mind wants to go, where's that coming from?
Yeah, and it's so awesome. And his has the driving thing where it can drive all, but he's like, but I just don't care about stuff like that. I've never cared about cars. And I've had more people say, I want to buy a Tesla now because of that. I mean, that's knock yourself out. And you get, the models are cool, but the thought process of trying to destroy somebody because you don't like what is popular with many Americans. In fact, the DOGE / drain the swamp / all that stuff is actually more popular than Trump's himself because people have talked about it for years. Since I was a kid, they were always going to do something to combat bureaucracy, always going to do something to cut spending, always going to do something to rat out, all the waste, fraud, and abuse, and they never have. And now that it's here in front of you, the Democrats don't know how to react because they're defending stuff that's indefensible. They're defending stuff that when put to the actual, when you lay it out in front of them, they always want to talk about, well, if you take away USAID and you take away that, then how are kids going to get fed in certain parts of the world? We're not taking away that. We're not taking away the help for the HIV. We're not taking away the certain things. We're taking away stuff that helps funnel money to bad people, that also helps funnel money to NGOs that funnel money to Democrats. That's what we're doing. And it's frustrating because they have no answer. So your answer is, I'm mad at Elon, so I'm going to destroy his stuff. Good luck with that. That's a winning argument. A lot of stuff still to squeeze into. I want to talk about that track thing because I find it fascinating that somebody was so frustrated that they beat another participant in the head with a baton.
Yeah. Dangerous.
Yeah.
Those things are...
They're heavier than you think.
Yes.
Yes, we'll talk about that. A lot of other good stuff to get to as well. If you're missing the show, we say shame on you. Grab the podcast, right? Shame.
Shame.
Shame. You should have known better.
Bulwark Capital. I want you guys to sign up for the free webinar. It's taking place next Thursday. It is at 5:30 our time, 3:30 Pacific. It is amazing. You're going to find out what Bulwark's all about, whether you're starting to invest, whether you're investing and getting ready for your retirement, whether you're in your retirement, or whether you're just looking for a different opinion on stuff. Bulwark wants to show you what they're all about. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, give you the most upside potential. That's what they're about. It is their first seminar where they're looking at the 100 days of Trump, how his 100 days are going to affect the market and where they could be taking the market in the next several months. It's really fascinating. It doesn't cost you anything. Worst case scenario is you learn something. It's that simple. Sign up today at knowyourriskradio.com. That's KNOW, yourriskradio.com for Bulwark Capital's live webinar. The first 100 days takes place next Thursday. That's the 20th at 5:30 our time, 3:30 Pacific. Go to knowyourriskradio.com to sign up today. Investment advisory services offered through Check Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and not a guarantee. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Check 25137.
All right, drivers, still got that problem in Rutherford County. The through lanes are blocked on 840 westbound right before Veterans Parkway. You got a stalled vehicle blocking all of the lanes. Only the right shoulder is open. That's backed up all the way to I-24. And Elon Musk says X is under cyber attack. All this and more at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, it is. It's been under attack for quite a while. It works for 5 minutes, then it doesn't work. Then it works for 5 minutes, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
As of now, I think it's working, but it's hard to tell.
Let me check. Let's see here.
Oh, I don't know if it is or isn't. I don't think it is.
Nope.
It was working a little while ago.
Oh, well, there it comes. It just came up for a brief moment there, Brother Chad.
Yeah, so it's odd. They're under attack. And you know what people are going to say tonight? Well, if you can't run that, how can you run anything else, man?
Yeah, he was getting that over that last SpaceX launch, too.
Yeah, I know. They were like celebrating. Oh, God, his rocket ship burned down. Oh, that's just so sad. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Okay. Okay. By the way, you guys do realize he went up in space to save those astronauts that are wandering or have been sitting in the space station for how many months?
Going on 9 months.
Yeah. How's that going for everybody? Anybody? You know, I know that, what's his name brought that up, our buddy Lonely Scott Jennings over at CNN. All those people were supposed to go for what, 6 days or something like that?
5 days.
5 days. They've been up there 9 months. Missed it by that much. Good God. Speaking of chaos and craziness, if you didn't see this story, what the hell happened?
This is a crazy video that you have to see. It's unimaginable, unsportsmanlike conduct on the track. This morning, a high school track star is still recovering nearly a week after being hit on the head by another runner during a race.
Junior Kaylin Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200 relay in the Virginia State High School League Championships when the shocking incident happened.
That's when she hit me with the baton.
Watch again as you see the two sprinters running side by side as they round the corner with Kaylin on the outside, Kaylin's mother cheering her on. Just as Kaylin is passing the other runner, the athlete swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her on the main floor.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's assault.
That's exactly what it is. Look, now, I'm going to say this. Does it make track and field a little bit more interesting? Of course it does.
Sure.
You know, giving them the batons, letting them run around and fight each other along the way. I'm like, I might tune into that. But that's if you know it's coming.
Yeah.
But those things are heavy. Mm-hmm. And whacked her big time. It was like athletes, sometimes that happens, right? I mean, I've seen it. We've all seen it with some athletes. You're just like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking?
The 16-year-old was later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter, that was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
The other runner, who attends IC Norcom High School, has not been named. Kaylin's parents say Norcom's athletic director and the girl's father apologized in a phone call, but they're still waiting for the opposing athlete and her coaches to reach out.
We definitely want the coaches and a personal apology from the actual athlete as well, because it's only right.
It's totally right. I mean, two Thanksgivings ago, Jack had a hockey tournament, and as usual, I've got to travel to go out to his hockey tournament. And at his age, and he was like 12, so you're not allowed to fight, right? You're not allowed to fight till you're like 16, 17. They don't really, they kind of poo-poo with the fighting. He got into a fight in the first or second shift of the tournament, and he was thrown out of the tournament. I made him go over immediately, though, after the game and apologize to the team, his team, the other team, and the player and the father, because Jack thumped this kid, and the kid got a penalty that he was thrown out of the game for smashing, for boarding somebody. That's when somebody's further away from the board and crushed one of their little guys, and Jack jumped on top of him and laid him out. That, if you're 20 and you get paid for it, I get it. And I'm just, I wasn't mad with him. But they're, sportsmanship. You go apologize. That's not something you do. Not at that level. This, and hockey's physical. Like, you don't expect somebody to attack you in track.
No.
Like, maybe ice skating in the 90s, that was violent. Because of the thing with the leg and the knee, Yeah. But outside of this is insane.
The Virginia High School League saying in a statement, "We thoroughly review every instance like this," adding, "The VHSL membership has always made it a priority to provide student athletes with a safe environment for competition."
Meanwhile, Kaylin's parents say that they're still waiting to see what disciplinary actions will be taken against the other athlete before deciding their next steps. In the meantime, guys, because Kaylin's been recovering for a week, they're hoping that she can finally return to school today.
I was wondering what happens, though, was your team just hurt? The other team was obviously disqualified. But what happens to you guys? Like the race, you don't, you're out. Like, you don't get to advance to the finals. You're just out. That's got to suck.
I just do not see how an athlete can be accidentally hit in the head with a baton.
Yeah.
There's just
no way.
Yeah.
No way. And when you look at it, this is not an accident.
No, you can tell.
That you meant to do that. Absolutely. Coming up, a lot of stuff. We're going to look at what's going on. Recession fears are starting to loom. We'll touch a little bit about that. A bunch of other things still to get to. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers again in Rutherford County. You've got a stalled vehicle. All the through lanes are blocked of 840 westbound right before Veterans Parkway. The traffic is backed up all the way to the 24 interchange. It says right here only the right shoulder is open to get by. Full forecast in 5 minutes. X is under cyber attack, according to owner Elon Musk. He says it was done with a lot of resources. Suggests a large coordinated group and or country is involved. There have been at least 3 outages reported by X users today. The new L.A. County District Attorney Nathan Hochman says his office will move forward with resentencing proceedings for the Menendez brothers for the murder of their parents back in 1989. But he believes they do not meet the threshold to be released from prison. He says there's no evidence that a letter recently found from Eric to his cousin outlining sexual abuse by their father is authentic or relevant.
If they had this evidence, if this letter truly existed, the defense counsel would have absolutely used it at the trial.
Resentencing hearings set for March 20 and 21, but Hochman put it on Governor Gavin Newsom.
He has unilateral constitutional power to commute the Menendez's sentences if he chooses, and release them today.
Canada slapping a 25% tariff on the electricity Ontario provides to 1.5 million Americans in Minnesota, New York, and Michigan, trying to hit back at tariffs President Trump's imposing on Canada. It's expected to raise monthly rates for those Americans by an additional $69. And Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in Saudi Arabia ahead of talks with the U.S. on ending the war with Russia. Those talks set for Wednesday. Here's Patrick Reevell.
A source close to President Zelensky told ABC News Ukraine will propose a mutual pause on long-range strikes from the air and sea when it meets with U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. The source said Ukraine wants the partial ceasefire to test if Russia would respect it. Russian officials so far publicly, though, have not signaled support for the idea, which was first floated by France. President Zelensky has now arrived in Saudi Arabia to meet with its ruler, but he will not take direct part in the U.S. talks on Tuesday.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The market, a little shaky right now. People are worried about what may be coming, recession, trade wars, all kinds of stuff. You want to be ready, and our buddies over at Beacon will help you with that. Beacon Capital Management has the Retirement Ready Toolkit. Maybe you're closing in on retirement very fast, and you're worried about, maybe you're already in retirement, and you're thinking, oh, my goodness. How do you prepare yourself, and how do you keep yourself in retirement? Because you don't want to be in a situation where you have to unretire because you have to. They're going to get you out the Retirement Ready Toolkit. It doesn't cost you anything. There's zero obligation, no pressure whatsoever. You're going to get a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a Maximizing Your Retirement Income white paper. These will help you, show you a lot of things about what it is about retirement and why you want to make sure you have money for life. Again, no cost, no obligation, no pressure. The beauty of Beacon is they're local. Go shake their hands and talk to them. And I suggest you do so. They're amazing. Call 615-488-9303. That's 615-488-9303 to get your free Retirement Ready Toolkit today. That's 615-488-9303. Or check them out online at askbeaconnow.com. The hell is this? When weather breaks, we know news. No
I was getting
news
ready to
like
say.
Action News 5-9er.
We have an extreme sunshine alert. The sun will be shining brightly all day.
Action News 9-5er. With Wethy Weatherson. Torres Diaz Lamine Yamal.
Here's Ken Weather.
I love that. You're fired, Bell. No more of that crap.
Sorry.
Bell's just randomly hitting stuff. I'd rather have a mariachi band than that. I love mariachi.
I got that too.
I'm good with that. By the way, they just showed it. Now they've got 50 angles of that race, because everybody's, she didn't just accidentally hit her.
She bashed her.
Yeah, because once she got away.
You could tell she was frustrated because she was about to pass her.
Yeah, and because you could tell by the stride. The strides were perfect until she pulled just ahead. Then you see the right arm of her. Oh, yeah, it goes out to the right and then slams down on her. It's not even close. It's not even close. By the way, the lady, nobody was catching the girl in front, by the way. So just to let you guys know that.
Yeah, she was gone.
Yeah, she was gone. Like, she starts to disappear. She didn't know any commotion went on.
Well, I don't know the rules of relay racing, but if you drop the baton, you're out, right?
Yes.
So she hit her in the head and dropped the baton.
Yeah.
So she lost anyway.
Yeah, she lost anyways because you're not supposed to. And they will, because once they get into the lanes, because what you have to do is you take off in this and then everybody kind of, you're trying to get around. Then you get back into your lane for the baton. But that was not this. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Now they're going to talk about, the deadline. The deadline looms for a government shutdown. Oh, my God. Nobody cares.
We're all going to die.
Nobody cares.
I can't live without my government being open.
The federal government, and it's always one of those things, the government's going to shut down. Yeah, except for the 90% of people have to show up to work. Yeah,
every quote-unquote essential service will continue.
And then they always say the same thing. Well, they're showing up to work without money. Okay. Do they get paid that money when eventually the government reopens? Yeah. Well, then they're still getting paid. And then they celebrate, too, afterwards. They pat themselves on the back. Oh, we did a good job keeping the government open. You guys are great. Fantastic. Speaking of government, Jasmine Crockett, who, by the way, apparently is the new voice of the Democrat Party, was talking about immigration, in particular, illegal immigration.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations. It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally.
So I just want to point that out, how she started. It is not a crime to come here illegally. By definition, doing something illegal is a crime. Now, is it a felony? It is not a felony. It is a misdemeanor, civil penalty, worst case scenario, worst case, 6 months in jail. That's the worst case. The second time you come in the country illegally, it is different. It is a felony. Okay? So it is, by definition, a crime. So pointing that out. But she's the new voice of the Democrat Party when it comes to immigration and pretty much everything. And it's funny. I watched Charlemagne the God and Andrew Schultz. They have a podcast. I don't know what it's called. But they were talking about Jasmine, and they said she speaks for a lot of Democrats and to a lot of the average people, because she'll drop the F-bomb and stuff, because they're trying to do what Trump does, which is speak to the average person with no BS, just straightforward, and then watching the likes of Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff all try to do something where they seem kind of dangerous, and they're not. It's uncomfortable to watch them do it. But that's great that you speak, to the people. And people are like, okay, that's fine. I can hear you. The issue that people have is when it comes down to the actual policy, that's when it falls apart. You may get them listening. Oh, that's nice. Or she speaks, the way she's talking is really what they were saying. The way it's not about the policies, the way she's talking to the American people, it resonates with them. Because a lot of politicians, they don't know how. I mean, when I watched Eric Swalwell, he tried to be cursed. It was hilarious. It was awkward. Same thing with Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff, who at this point almost looks like some sort of statue. He doesn't talk like a normal person because none of them do. They don't know how to talk to human beings. It's all uncomfortable. Very few politicians have that gift of the gab, and they can talk to the average person. They don't. That's why people are saying it's what she's saying that is a nightmare, but how she's saying it, I can see why people say she resonates. But then you actually have to get down to the nuts and bolts of it. And the nuts and bolts are immigration in particular is a nightmare still. And you're going to hear more stories like this over the next several weeks. And I told you guys that. This is a father who was in Michigan, Mr. Jaimez, who was arrested. His kids are very upset. He's 55. He's been here for like 30 years.
They also pulled out guns on him. And I feel like my dad is such a kind man that I can understand what he would have done wrong for them to pull out guns.
So he was bringing his kid to school, and ICE was behind him, and they ended up taking him into custody. And, of course, there's all the, I can't believe this happened.
One of the agents even told him, honestly, I don't even know why you're here because, you have no record. You didn't do anything bad. Nothing.
Okay. Is that what they really said? And I think we can agree for, a vast majority of people that I understand that they're upset because they don't have a record. They haven't done anything wrong. Okay. Nobody's questioning that part except for the part that they came here illegally and they're not supposed to be in this country. This guy started his own business. I think he's got a painting business. He's been somewhat successful. He's got 5 kids. By all accounts, seems to be, he's been here 30 plus years.
He always tried to tell us, just go after anything because, he always tried to give us a life that he wasn't able to get while he was young. He was always just go to school, He regrets not finishing high school, and he's just get an education.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. You can get educations lots of different ways. We've talked about that earlier.
I just don't think that they realize that, they're separating families. He's just such a good man.
And he might be. But here's the thing. And when I hear this story, and actually I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. When I hear the story, I say, I can empathize, I can sympathize, I get all of the things. I get it. Except for one thing. 2014, there was an order for removal. So 11 years ago, he was ordered by the court system. And remember what the Democrats say. We just want a fair system. We want there to be a system. We want there to be some sort of checks and balances where people have the opportunity to go before a court, to state their case, and to have their case made. And he did that. And they said, you have to go. And he didn't. Everybody who's come here illegally knows at some point in time there could be a knock at the door. At some point in time, there could be a situation where they end up getting asked to leave. They get up, wake up one day, knock at the door, open it, it's ICE. You've got an order for removal. This was 11 years old. I can sympathize and empathize with the family. But 11 years ago, this happened. And when you hear people out there going, this is wrong, why do we have a system if nobody wants to follow the system? Why do we have a system if we've decided the system is stupid and we don't like it because it doesn't give us the results we want, so let's get rid of the system? Well, at that point in time, then we have nothing. Nothing. The system's there for a reason. If the system would have said, you can stay because of this, this, and this, and ICE picked him up and he had his, okay, well, then we would have a serious complaint. But the system right there worked because he got a hearing. He went through the system. There was an order to be removed, and he had 11 more years here. 11. And if Donald Trump wasn't in the White House right now and this would have happened, you probably not hear anything about it. But because Trump's in the White House, you get this. One more on immigration. F around, find out.
His attorney says Mahmoud Khalil was arrested at his university-owned apartment. His lawyer says immigration police said they were acting on State Department orders to revoke Khalil's student visa. Told by the attorney that Khalil was in the U.S. as a permanent resident with a green card, the agent said they were revoking that too, according to the lawyer. President Trump's promised to deport students protesting the war in Gaza.
It's not protesting the war in Gaza. Let's get that out first. It is anti-Semitism on campus that is the issue. If you went to campus today and you said anything about BIPOC, that's the people of color, right? Indigenous people of color. If you did that, you'd be asked to leave ASAP. You wouldn't be on campus anymore. If you microaggressed a woman or somebody in the LGBTQ plus IA world. I mean, so you go to campus and you say something that is, just what they consider to be a micro transgression against them. They would lose their minds.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus kids' rights.
Former governor of Canada. Not governor anymore. But if you were to do that on campus, you'd be popped for it. You'd be kicked out of school. This was anti-Semitism. This was scaring kids of Jewish descent. This was stopping school from going on. This was a lot of different things. This wasn't just, I don't like Israel, up with Palestine. This is death to America, death to Jews, all of that stuff. This is not just a protest where you hold up a Palestinian sign and say they deserve rights, they deserve peace, This was not that. So spare me the crap. Coming up, more on the
LBG.
Yeah, those. I could listen to him all day. Former governor. He's no longer the governor.
I love the frustration in his voice that comes through.
Because he finds it absurd like we all do. A lot of stuff still to get to. If you miss any of the show, get the podcast. Shame on you for doing that. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Omaha Steaks, tea to delicious. Well, all the prices in the world are going up right now. The battle is on. You know what? Beef. Omaha Steaks is going to deliver to you 50% off semi-annual sale going on right now. Now, check this out. Do you want steaks? They've got them. Do you want chicken? They've got it. Do you want incredible pork chops, burgers, franks, or as I like to call them, dogs? They've got them. They've got surf and turf. They've got everything you've ever dreamed of and then some. And it's 50% off site-wide, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee at omahasteaks.com. Here's the other beauty of it. When you go there and use my code BENSON, BENSON, $30 off at checkout. What? That's right. So if you want the best steaks, and they have assorted packages where you can get, I would like some tri-tip, and I would like a filet, and I would like this. Great. Or maybe you're just like, all I want is fillets. They've got that. Pick and choose, put together your own assortment, or get one of the many assortments they have already ready to roll. 100% unconditional money-back guarantee, 50% off site-wide. Use my code Benson and get $30 off at checkout. omahasteaks.com. Use code Benson.
X is under cyber attack, a legal setback for the Menendez brothers, and an electricity standoff with Canada. These stories and more at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, my God. I still don't know the Canadian thing. I'm trying to figure out what the hell we're doing there.
Yeah, apparently they provide electricity to about 1.5 million Americans.
I don't, and I know people are like, well, they charge us 500 gazillion % for our dairy products. Okay, but why?
I think the tariffs on dairy products are like 250%.
They
aren't
are.
They?
Yeah, but they've been that way forever and a day. This is not something new. Well, but what about, I get China, all right? China, the battle that goes on there. I understand that. And I get maybe certain issues with cars. Okay. And I get Mexico because of the amount of people that have flown through, have basically flown, through there, and they flowed all the way to the border. They've been whisked through by the Mexican government for the most part, the fentanyl, all of that. I get certain stuff. Canada, I'm not quite sure what that's about. I mean, because if it depends on who you talk to at the time of the day, you're going to get a different answer from everybody. So we'll find out what the trade war is like with Canada. Canada, though, I mean, they 100% tariffs this weekend from China. And that's reciprocal from October of last year, by the way. Not this year, because that's not happened yet.
I actually spoke with the chief economist at Moody's today, Mark Zandi, who says that the recession risk is growing. He now puts it at 35% versus 15% for a recession early next year. He says this could happen if the Trump tariffs are put in place and remain there for at least a few months.
And that's how long they remain, because they keep getting kicked to the curb, or they keep changing. 1 minute it's like we're tariffing everything. Then the next minute it's like, well, it's only going to be 10% on this, or it's going to be 5% over here, or we're going to hold off on this. I don't know what exactly does all this mean? When are we really going through with it? Is this just a trade war that you think you need to be involved with because Canada's the evil one? Because we know they are, those white devils.
All that politeness is just a cover.
It's just the worst. It's all a lie. They come on in. Next thing you know, they're nice. They're making you pancakes with real maple syrup, taking you to a hockey game.
Offering you free poutine.
Free poutine. You don't want free poutine. Oh, my Lord. We'll find out what it's like if and when all of these things go into effect and what it really looks like. Because just because they say it's going to raise prices doesn't mean it's only going to raise prices 5 or 10%. I think the tariffs on the cars, judging by my buddy who runs a dealership, has said, think 20, 25%. Don't think an extra $3,000. Think more. Oh, okay. And I'm like, 25%, that's pretty big. But it's also, how long do these last? And I know they're a starting point. They're a negotiating point. Let's see what they look like. But going into a recession, that's not a helper. Trump's not getting reelected again, for those of you who might want that. Andy Ogles. He still doesn't want to be your friend, Andy. It's just mostly desperate, right? Like, are you sure you don't want to go out with me? But he doesn't have to worry about the next gig. But what he does have to worry about is midterms. And if they can't get at you because they don't like your economic thing, and if we do go into recession and you can't bounce back quick, they'll hold the Republican Party absolutely responsible for it. Doesn't mean it won't. That will happen. It could be a short-term one. We'll find out. Still curious again. I know some of you are going to send me stuff. This is why. Dow's down 1,000 right now. Doesn't feel good. But you don't watch the stock market, especially if you're not retiring tomorrow. If you're retired now, that's not good. Missing the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, looks like we've picked up a crash. Going to be 24 westbound over on the East Bank. It's right after the Spring Street Ellington Parkway exit 47A. Also, Haywood Lane at Easel Road, Apache Trail. Got a crash reported there. And Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard over at 6th Avenue. Elon Musk says X is under cyber attack. There's been several outages this morning, and Musk says this cyber attack is from a large coordinated group and or country. The new district attorney in Los Angeles, Nathan Hochman, doesn't think Eric and Lyle Menendez meet the threshold for being released from prison for the 1989 murder of their parents. He thinks they've lied multiple times about the case. However, he does say this.
District attorney's office, if it is presented with these new insights, unequivocal, sincere acknowledgments of all the lies they have told for the past over 30 years, we too, in the district attorney's office, will reconsider whether or not we would want to go forward with a resentencing motion.
As for now, this hearing is set for 10 days from now. Canada has put a 25% tariff on electricity provided to about 1.5 million Americans in Minnesota, New York, and Michigan. It comes from Ontario. That means an additional $69 more a month to power their homes. As the tit for tat for tariffs continue, Alexis Christoforous looked into recession risks.
I actually spoke with the chief economist at Moody's today, Mark Zandi, who says that the recession risk is growing. He now puts it at 35% versus 15% for a recession early next year. He says this could happen if the Trump tariffs are put in place and remain there for at least a few months.
Right now in our nation's capital, jackhammer crews removing the big black and yellow letters designating Black Lives Matter Plaza. Going to make way for what's going to be called Liberty Plaza instead. If it stays Black Lives Matter Plaza, D.C.'s mayor says they risk losing federal money. Right now in Tennessee, Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says an East Nashville woman is fighting for her life after a bullet hit her in the chest while she was laying in bed overnight. That bullet among dozens that were fired outside her home.
Neighbors told police they heard the gunfire and then they heard the squealing of tires as a car sped off. Right now, they are trying to figure out who's responsible for shooting that woman. No suspect information has been released, and we don't have a description of that car at this time.
Just after 11 o'clock last night, shots fired into that duplex on Trutland Place. And the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that since the start of October, 40 million Americans have come down with seasonal influenza, including more than 500,000 who had to go into the hospital. The CDC says the flu season appears to have peaked now, but not before killing 22,000 Americans. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
People are saying that Trump wants Canada. He wants their oil. I want their oil. And their poutine.
I'll take all that poutine.
Will you?
Every bit of it.
Extra gravy, please.
Love it. Cheese. I want cheese poutine.
Wow, look at you guys. I am, it's not my jam. Not a poutine guy.
How can you be such a hockey guy and not like poutine? That's what you eat before a game. Didn't your son tell you that?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't tell me that. Now, by the way, that's the old school hockey. These guys are all nowadays. They have their, own private chefs and stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah, old school's like 4 cigarettes right before the game.
That's right.
Cocktail right while you're in the penalty box.
I was watching something the other day with Biz, he's a pretty popular podcaster, was a hockey player, and he was saying that when he was playing with the Penguins, when Lemieux was there, Lemieux would be smoking, cigarettes the entire time, just chilling.
Well, you used to see baseball players smoking cigarettes all the time.
Yeah. Oh, when I played soccer, I was amazed at how many guys at halftime would smoke. I was like, what the hell? Right? I thought you're supposed to be fit. Yeah, we're all right, mate. Okay. Apparently you guys didn't get the whole memo, right? Right? We had a Surgeon General. He came out and said you shouldn't do this, but you guys do whatever it is you do. Oh, incredible. Will there or won't there be a recession? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Donald Trump. And he's not quite sure, maybe a smidge.
Let me stay on the economy for a moment because there are rising worries about a slowdown. You've got the Atlanta Federal Reserve saying we're going to have a contraction in the first quarter. Look, I know that you inherited a mess, and you said that the other night.
I've only been here,
but are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I think it should be great.
And we'll find out. As long as you're with the people, if you explain to the people, look, there's going to be a downtime. There's going to be a time that we're going to have to, because we're having to refix this thing. We're going to have to basically almost start from scratch. Inflation was ridiculous. We recognize that. We're going to have to get in and start changing some things. We've got what we think are some unfair advantages. We're going to use these tariffs to our benefit, and it may hurt some people. There's no doubt. But the long term is it's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit everybody. That's the long term. So a little short-term pain for long-term gain. And as long as people understand why you're doing that, I think people will be okay. But there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel. Because if you tell people, deal with it, and they're not going to like that. And we're a fickle bunch. We're very fickle. I was on with the Chicks on the Right today. I filled in for, if you've ever seen Chicks on the Right, I filled in for Daisy. This week, I'm identifying as a chick on the right. And as we were joking, and she even admitted, look, I got news for you. If you think that people will stick with you if the economy crashes, they won't. You could fix everything. We've talked about it. But if the economy goes south, they get a little bit more than just gun shy. They look to hold people accountable. We were talking about it last hour. They're not going to hold him accountable the same way. They'll hold the Republican Party accountable. And in doing so, they'll make a change in midterms. Now, that's if everything goes wrong. I don't think things are going to go wrong. I think there's going to be some stuff that isn't going to work great, and I think there's stuff that's going to work much better than people realize. And then from there, the economy, I think, is going to do quite well. There's always going to be pullbacks. That's just the nature of the economy because we've got an economy right now that is overheated in the stock market. Stock market's down big today. It's overheated. There are so many things in the stock. I think it's Costco's trading 65 times earnings. Think about that for a second. 65 times earnings. That's insane. Stuff that is completely overbought. So I expect some sort of pullback. And he said something about don't look at the market. If you're not retiring tomorrow, don't look at the market. If you're retiring tomorrow, you may feel a little bit like, hey, I've got to figure some stuff out. there's going to be some slowdown in certain situations. It's how do we get out of it, and can we come out of it rather than a slow walk, come out of it and hit the ground running hardcore? That's a fair question. And the DOGE will have a lot to do with certain things as well. And I love how people talk about DOGE. Earlier today, there was a character from, I think it was The Atlantic, on Morning Joe. And it's always about fear. The DOGE is only about fear.
Right. So if the kind of master narrative of the first couple of weeks of the Trump administration has been the unimpeded power of Elon Musk, well, then we do have this evidence that he's receiving some sort of backlash, some sort of pushback. But I think the fundamental trend still continues, which is that DOGE has created an ethos for the entire federal government, that one of the underlying pillars of the DOGE strategy is to create a sense of fear and anxiety among federal workers to drive them out on their own volition. And I think that we're only beginning to see that happening when in Washington, this is a local story. And like Jesse Waters, I mean, I think all of us at the table here keep running into people in the federal government who are pondering leaving the federal government. And when I look at these examples of the very good people I know in the government, whether they are at the VA doing some sort of very basic medical work, or they're at other agencies where they're regulating financial markets, the stunning exodus of competence and capacity is only just beginning.
Okay. Nobody ever can... And it's funny, they never have anybody that can juxtapose that position. I'm very aware that this thing may go south. I'm very aware that it may go south, and partly because I think if it moves too fast, government is still bureaucracy. It's still slow. It still takes forever to do anything. I'm very aware that this thing could end up looking ugly and being kind of a mess for a while. And even if it turns out to be better in the very long run, the fact is people panic. I can look at that. Nobody ever goes, you know what? I wonder if this thing works, what that would look like. Because it always goes to the worst case scenario. And you need people, by the way, on your team. I've always said if I was president, first of all, that'd be silly. Because I think that you think that Zelensky showing up in that outfit was bad. Imagine me showing up in shorts and a T-shirt every day.
Showing off all your tats.
That's right. Yeah. Would you guys like that, huh? But they never can say, what if? Like if I was president, I'd say I would always have somebody on the other side in the room going, all right, give me the scenario from a different perspective that I'm not seeing because I'm in an echo chamber or whatever it is. You need that. Because government's always based on the best case scenario. That's the way governments come out and talk. If we do this, and this, and everything works out perfect, and we do this, and then we win the lottery, it's going to work out great. And then we know that's not the reality. Somewhere in the middle, it's going to be. But this whole thought that we're losing all these people, they're losing all these people. Oh, my God, they're never going to be replaceable. What if we lose a bunch of people, but we replace them with technology that not only is better, but it makes it easier for people to maneuver through the giant bureaucracy that is government and makes us more efficient and saves money and gets out waste, fraud, and abuse in the meanwhile? What's wrong with that? I don't have a problem with that. And if it goes south, then you realize it goes south and you change. That's it. It's never that way, though. It's always about, it's the worst case scenario. The world's going to come to an end. No, I don't think so. And they pitch it as, well, what if grandma doesn't get her Social Security check? Why'd you go to that? It's always grandma doesn't get her Social Security check. And these poor people, it is truly, we laugh at the DOGE thing, but for the most part, it is a federal thing, and it is people in D.C. I have a lot of friends in D.C. Some of them work for think tanks, and some of them do work for the federal government, and they're worried about losing their gig, mostly because they always laugh about how easy their gig is, but they're worried about losing their gig. But it's popular. If it was unpopular, and this is, like we talked today about daylight savings, right? So if you guys don't know this and you're thinking, geez, it's only 1:15, it's 2:15, and you're late. But Trump doesn't want to do anything with daylight savings. Well, it's Congress to figure it out, which is what they have to do. And one of the reasons says, it's 50-50. Trump looks at 80-20 things. Trump looks at stuff that's in his favor and realizes this is where I'm going to play the odds. And the odds are this. Daylight savings, you have a lot of people out there. It's like, well, I don't want my kids to go to school when it's so early and dark outside. It's scary. And then other people are like, I want sunshine all day. See, the three of us here. So Ken, Bell, and I, we're sunshine people.
Yes, sir.
We are absolutely sunshine people. So we are all about the sunshine. Other people, they don't want their kids to go to school. And they don't care if their kids come home when it's dark.
Yeah.
Right? Let your kid go to school in the dark and let him come home when it's sunshine. It's a good thing. But Trump is uncomfortable because he said it's a 50-50 thing. We'll let them sort it out. Okay. Let them sort it out. I'm such a big sunshine person. That's why I walk to work, people. That's why I walk to work. But I look at this, and this is a federal government issue, and there is always the situation where everybody thinks the federal government is the end-all to be-all, and it's not. Our government locally here, what Freddie O'Connell's going to do is going to have more of a issue in your life where he decides to tear up the roads and ruin somebody's business by trying to build a choo-choo train there that won't go anywhere or cost a lot of money and nobody will ever get on, or the buses. That stuff will have more of an impact. This stuff is fun, the DOGE, but it's ridiculous in the way that it's spent. And it's ridiculous in the way that we've done things. And every politician has talked about it. How can they fix government? Make it more efficient. Well, when the efficiency shows up, people get scared because it may cost them their jobs. That's understandable. I don't want people to lose their jobs. But do we need 12 people to file a piece of paper? Do we need one person if we can use technology? And that technology, man, when I talk to one of my friends, his wife is a big-time contractor. She's not worried about her gig. But she tells me the way that she has to deal with government is so back-assward because they're so far behind in the technology that it's like explaining, hieroglyphics to a child. They had no idea what's going on. And they said everything is 15, 20 steps longer than it should be, which is frustrating. No doubt about that. Several of you have chimed in, 80-20 items. That's what common sense. So a lot of people, I would love to see us stay here when it comes to the time. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't, because I don't think anybody wants to make that decision. And the 80-20, if it was 80-20, I can guarantee you today, if it was 80-20, Trump would be over at Congress going, fix this, let's never move our clocks again.
This is another great example of the Democrats letting us down because they controlled the Senate and they had it passed. And Schumer could have walked it over to Pelosi when they controlled the House and said, hey, here's an easy L for us. Put this on the floor and let's get it passed. And he just let it sit.
Just I don't know why. And several states have passed I think even California passed we don't want, we want, spring forward to stay here all the time, daylight savings. And it never goes anywhere because Congress has to make that change. Only Hawaii and Arizona, which is where I was, they're the only ones who haven't changed times. Indiana used to be that way, and then they decided, no, we're going to join everybody else and be stupid.
There's also one state that has like a little carved out area that doesn't do it, and I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be Indiana. Used to have, I think, like Indianapolis used to be the way. I don't think it's that way anymore, though. So the whole state is like, how weird is that?
The whole thing is just dumb. We need one time, and we need to stick to it.
That's it. One time. How about this? Just one time for the whole country.
Yes.
So it's 2:20 right now. It's 2:20 in Southern California. It's 2:20 in the East Coast.
If it's 12:15 in New York, it's 12:15 in Hawaii.
Let's mess them all up. Somebody said a 50-50 issue. Why don't we turn the clocks back in the fall half an hour? You know what? That's what North Korea tried to do.
Compromise.
That's compromise is what one person says. That's silly. North Korea tried it, and everybody looked at him and said, stop being stupid. All right? We deal with you because you have a nuclear bomb. Don't be any more idiotic than normal. Coming up, talk a little bit about Loch Ness Monster. Is there a Loch Ness Monster? Well, we'll talk a little bit about it. Wait till you hear this story. And what is sleep maxing? Because it is important because the younger generation is trying to maximize sleep. We'll talk about that. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega 3, 6, 9, all of this incredible stuff in an amazing supplement that you give your dog on a daily basis. Now, I've been doing this for my dogs for a very long time, and what it does for them is incredible. It's got vitamins and minerals and all this great stuff in it, but it can change your dogs in so many ways and help them. They're doing a 90-day challenge right now, where over 90 days, you're going to see a huge difference in your dogs. First 30 days, shinier coat, right? Which is great, more energy. By day 60, fuller coat, no shedding. You're going to see more mobility inside of their joints, which is awesome. And by day 90, digestive tract is going to be better. Their immune system is going to be better. Heart health is better. It's incredible. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free. It's a $20 value. All you have to do is use my code CHAD at roughgreens.com. But on top of that, take the 90-day challenge and find out what they can do for you. It will really be beneficial for you and your dog. Try it today. ruffgreens.com. Use code CHAD. Roughgreens.com, code CHAD. Raycon, best earbuds around. This weekend, I traveled a lot. Let me tell you something. My Raycons were with me everywhere I went. And, man, I didn't have to charge them once. 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life. The best fit, the best feel, the best sound quality. The everyday earbuds are incredible. They're not going to break the bank. Multi-connectivity, check. On top of that, you get active noise cancellation. You get the fast charging, which is incredible. I didn't have to use it this weekend, but for every 10 minutes you charge, you get 90 minutes of function, which is amazing. And a 30-day happiness guarantee. If you want sound quality that's amazing, with a fit that is incredible, it is the everyday earbuds. And I will tell you what, the active noise cancellation, took a little nap on the plane, put them in, put the noise cancellation on, fell asleep, didn't hear the engine or the motor, which is phenomenal. Try these things. You'll love them. Get a 30-day happiness guarantee. The best sound quality, period, from Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad now to save big, 20% off. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad.
All right, got a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane, that is, of the westbound exit ramp of I-40 to go westbound on the East Loop downtown. So you got that stalled vehicle right before you get to downtown, blocking the westbound exit ramp left lane. And Elon Musk says X is under cyber attack. This story and more coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's under siege. He says we get attacked every day. This is something totally different. They're probably coming for him, man.
Oh, yeah.
They want to destroy everything. We played that last hour. We had that guy. He's like, we're going to destroy Elon Musk because he's the worst. Because it's been up, down, up, down, up, down all day. When I last checked, it was up, but it has definitely been a bit of a nightmare.
Let's see here.
I'm trying to think, so.
Yep, it's down for me.
Yeah, there's a struggle here because I haven't had anything updated in quite a while. So, ugly. And they're going to come out tonight and say, I knew Elon couldn't run anything. This is what happens when you fire everybody. Oh, my God. What insanity. Sleeping is important. The young kids are doing a little bit different nowadays. Call sleep maxing.
It's sleep maxing. It's a trend where young people maximize the time it takes to do their routine before going to bed so they get more sleep.
Okay, I understand it. So things like taking magnesium, making the room dark, turning down the thermostat, things like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Camilla Charles, a college senior in Florida, is among the millions of young adults who are now prioritizing their sleep routine in order to catch more Z's.
Magnesium, I go to sleep, I do my skincare. I'll put my hair, if it straightens, I'll put it in little rollers.
Sleep maxing, kids. This is the way the young people are doing it. I just called it getting ready for bed when I was younger.
One recent analysis found Gen Zers spend more time sleeping than any other generation.
Lazy.
That same survey showed they also spent more time exercising and prioritizing self-care than others.
You just want to make the quality better.
It's part of a trend known as sleep maxing, maximizing the time it takes to do your routine before going to bed so you can get more hours of sleep.
Trying to figure out what works for me, actually, because it is hard.
A room is dark, no television on, no nothing. You got to be quiet, man. And freezing cold in my room.
Well, I do like the freezing cold.
Yeah, I got to have it cold.
Man, I tell you, isn't it great when you go to a hotel where you can make the room so pitch black and you could just go right over to where the air conditioner is and you put it right on polar bear? And you're like, this is awesome. This is great. Sleep maxing.
Even though they may be considered good sleepers overall, they want to make their sleep even better yet.
While Gen Zers may be prioritizing sleep, a survey of all Americans found a majority, 57%, said they would feel better if they got more sleep. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends 7 or 8 hours. On social media, some young people are going as far as taping their mouths shut, along with using nostril expanders.
A lot of things people do that are not necessarily evidence-based.
I would tape your mouth shut while you're awake, but, you do it your way. Oh, I've seen that, that tape you can do for your mouth, and the whole thing is supposed to help you breathe in a certain way. I don't know. I mean, somebody did it once, thought it would be cool, put it on the, the interwebs, as we do. Then somebody thought, we can make a business out of it. Then a bunch of people bought a bunch of tape.
Yep.
And they're like, it cures everything. So if that's what you feel, here's something I tell my kids every day. I get my stuff prepared the night before. So the clothes I'm going to wear, all of that stuff, everything ready. So I don't have to make a decision in the morning when I'm first up. Because how many times are you out there, you stand in front of your, not you, Belle, because you have 8 T-shirts. But no, just kidding. But you're right.
14.
14. That's a lot. That's a lot. But if you go and look at all super successful people, it's one of the big things to do. It's the little things. What can I do to take away decisions that in the morning that I don't have to so I can just move forward? And that's one of them. I try to get my kids to do it, but my kids, they're like these kids.
It's like Bruce Banner, man. Purple pants, white shirt. That's all he needed.
There you go. See the way that works? Purple pants, white shirt. Coming up, let's talk about Nessie. There's a job for you. And Loch Ness Monster, maybe we'll talk about that. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And again, drivers, this is a big issue right now. We've got a stalled vehicle. It is blocking the westbound exit ramp left lane right before you get to the East Loop downtown if you're on 40 westbound. That is backed up all the way to 24. It's backing up 24. It's even backing up 440 if you're trying to get to 24 to get to 40. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. X is experiencing outages today, and Elon Musk says it's a cyber attack. He says it's from what he calls a large coordinated group and or country. Right now in L.A., new District Attorney Nathan Hochman says he does not believe Eric and Lyle Menendez meet the threshold for release from prison like his predecessor did. Here's Alex Stone.
The DA's office is doing a 180 and saying that they want Gascon's argument for their release withdrawn. He is now putting in his own argument, saying that the DA's office under Nathan Hochman no longer supports that they be released because of resentencing, that they get parole because they have been rehabilitated. Their argument, he says, for one key reason, that they have not taken responsibility for their crimes of murdering their parents.
Nonetheless, there will be a resentencing hearing in 10 days. A Columbia University student who was in the U.S. legally has been detained by ICE and is now sitting in a prison facility in Louisiana. Mahmoud Khalil, part of the pro-Palestinian protests and one of the negotiators when protesters camped out on campus. ICE authorities said the government was revoking his green card and his student visa. President Trump on social media said that Khalil's arrest was the first arrest of many to come and claimed Khalil was a radical foreign pro-Hamas student. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, kids. Speaking of storms, don't want a storm in your house. We're talking about what could happen. Maybe you got a burst pipe. Maybe you got issues where you got cracks and there's just water and you don't even know it. That's where USS comes in. United Structural Systems is ready to help you. They're not going to come out and charge you for any kind of inspection, and they're not going to sell you anything you don't need. Their goal is to come out and make sure that you don't have any real issues. They're going to cause things like mold, wood rot, structural repair down the future, new foundation. This stuff you don't want. And if you get to it early, you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't, it could be way worse than you think. So if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I should probably get some stuff because we've had a winter, right? Maybe it might be a pipe burst and I didn't see it. Maybe that leakage is much bigger behind all of that stuff. Let's take a look. Call United Structural Systems today. Have them come out. Like I say, absolutely not going to sell you anything unnecessary, and it's free inspection with USS. Call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or check them out online at ussTN.com. Wellness Institute of Nashville. Man, I tell you what, right now they got the big 47 going on in honor of the President of the United States, 47th President. And this honor is going on, this offer all year, right? All right, this is 47% off non-surgical decompression for your spine. And when you go there, they're not going to do anything crazy like, if you need surgery, they're going to tell you need surgery. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley are going to take care of you. It's not about, this crazy, because I think a lot of people think, what are they going to do to me? They're going to be, there's no needles, no cream, there's none of that stuff. Their whole thing is they've got machines, technology, kids, and it's going to help you. And you're going to see a huge improvement. There's no reason to be in pain anymore, okay? And so many of you I've talked to have given up. Same thing with your knee and your back. You don't want that. I danced this weekend. Thank you very much. Because of the Wellness Institute of Nashville. If you're ready to rock and roll, if you're ready to get back out there, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're going to help you do it. Start this year off right and keep it going right all the way through. The big 47 sale going off right now, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Call today, set up an appointment, and get in there and feel better. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009 or go to painisbad.com. Somebody texted in, guys, and said they do the tape over their mouth, and not because they saw it on the internet, but because it works. And I said, interesting. Which one of us?
Do it all the time.
We can't do it because we have fur on our face, so it's not going to work.
Yeah, that tape will hurt.
Yeah, that's going to wake me up, and that's going to ruin everything. And I don't want everything to be ruined.
Well, there's always alternatives like, a ball gag.
That seems a little much.
No.
Said the guy who wants to be the Gimp from, what was that movie?
Yeah, what?
The Tarantino flick.
Yeah.
What was the name
Pulp
of
Fiction.
that movie?
Pulp Fiction. That's right. A ball gag. Hey, baby, I'm going to bed.
You okay? I'm about as far from okay as it gets.
I'm about to get medieval on these guys.
Zed's dead, honey.
Yeah, that's right.
Zed's dead.
How are we? There is no we. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. Oh, my Lord. If you guys are saying to yourself, Chad, I'd like to go to Scotland and I'd like to have a job, there is one available, and it's doing something spectacular in the mysterious Loch Ness.
Beneath the murky waters of the legendary Scottish Loch lurks a mystery, and this week, perhaps, a new clue.
We think it's the first potential sighting of 2025. It's absolutely fantastic. It really looks like something is bulging out from underneath the water.
A new picture has surfaced showing what appeared to be a large dark mass beneath the calm, still waters of the loch, according to the official Loch Ness Centre.
I just think it shows us that there's possibilities, that the search is not over, that there's still that we're still carrying out research and surface watch on the waters.
What? Yeah. So there's new video that shows there could be something there, and they finally said, all right, we need somebody to do this full time. So there is a gig out there if you're willing to do it.
In fact, the center is now looking for a new full-time monster hunter, an adventurous skipper, the ad says, for the deep scan vessel to keep the search alive. The job joins a long line of Nessie hunters over the last century. Since the early 1930s, there have been more than 1,000 recorded sightings of some kind of creature dwelling in Loch Ness.
So this black hump come out of the water. It was like a torpedo going through the water.
Nowadays, there's a live stream of the loch, but researchers have deployed all tools imaginable: submarines, sonar, and last summer flew drones overhead. For decades, the leading theory was that Nessie was a plesiosaur, a dinosaur who had somehow survived. But scientists have tested the water for DNA.
Let's get down to it. Is there a plesiosaur in Loch Ness? No.
But they did find evidence of eel DNA.
It's plausible that there might be one or two that grow to extreme size.
Plausible, sure, but no photograph has ever proven that.
Definite fake.
A definite fig there, mate. It's a definite fig. Now, I'll tell you this. I've been to Loch Ness. It's creepy, but it's cool. It's fun. It's out in the middle of godforsaken nowhere. But now imagine if there was a massive eel in there. Is it plausible? Yeah. There's something you see stuff of that looks weird. Why couldn't it be? A big, giant, weird, creepy eel. Plesiosaurus would be better, but still.
Most snaps of Nessie, and there have been a lot, have been debunked. But the myth survives.
Well, he towed a nice bit of fiberglass behind his boat, but this is the famous one. What people think now is that it's actually this little thing. It's a submarine with a plasticine monster's head on top of it.
Experts and researchers will now analyze this week's newest sighting, looking for any evidence that Nessie lives on.
Molly, so many questions, but that job that you mentioned, the center's looking for a head Nessie hunter. What would that entail?
You're going to apply?
No, not at all.
It's a good gig. I'm looking at the ad right now, Craig, and I quote, "A successful candidate will spend their days searching for the legendary Nessie. You have to be an experienced skipper and key, a passionate storyteller. It pays about $230 a day, and you get to spend the day on the water. Not a bad gig."
That is not a bad gig if it was anywhere but there. Let me tell you what $230 a day will get you in Loch Ness. Cold as it gets all the time. What's it like? Cold. Today's going to be cold. Tomorrow, very cold. The next day, super cold.
Nope, not going to do that. I thought about applying, but not going to do that.
Yeah. So, and you got to be a great storyteller because that's part of the whole, lure, right? Like the storytelling of what goes on at Loch Ness. Here you are. It's fantastic. It's great. It's beautiful. There's a monster here. You're going to want to buy stuff on the way out at the, store. That's what it's all about.
All you're doing is make me want baby back ribs.
Oh, fantastic. Why is that?
Really?
I don't know.
Fat bastard in Austin Powers.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, are you thinking about Australia stuff? Baby back ribs are fantastic. I'll tell you that right now, wee man. But it is a interesting place. And, there's mystery. It's fun, right? We like the fun. We like to believe that there's a Bigfoot. Is there? I don't know. I didn't see one, but I heard one. Scared the bejesus out of me. I was a kid. I've been to Loch Ness? Did I see one? No. But would I like there to be one? Yeah. But we just screw it up. Right? Somebody would catch it. They go, oh, we should turn these things into more things. And then there'd be a whole bunch of them. It's a mystery. We like mysteries, kids. We like mysteries.
I proved there's a Loch Ness monster. How did you do that? I killed one.
That's the other side of it. That's the big thing about aliens. Aliens are like, man, if we land on this planet, because let's be real. This planet right here, kind of the trailer park of the galaxy. Right?
Can you imagine if there was a place worse?
I don't even know what that would look like. Florida. Yeah. You guys didn't know Florida was just this whole separate world?
It's its own universe.
Oh, my God. Somebody said, maybe it's Sasquatch snorkeling. How great would that be? Oh, Ken, no shirt on that job. You got to walk around, no shirt.
Okay, I'm in.
Fantastic. Are you at that point in your life where you just don't care?
No, like if it wasn't for my family, I would run around without a shirt on. But, I don't want to put them through that.
No.
Like the embarrassment of it all,
My buddy said the other day, he's at the point in his life where he wants to be Hawaiian shirt, super tan, fat belly guy. Walking around on the out in the beach.
Now, if I moved my family to Hawaii, they would not care. They'd be all right with that.
God, no. If you move your family to Hawaii, why would they care? They're like, he got us to Hawaii, guys. We can give him some slack.
They say, Dad, you could even wear a Speedo.
Hey, Dad, I don't care if you wear puka shells, which, by the way, is worse than a Speedo. You ever see somebody wearing puka shells? You're like, I just want to punch you.
I got to say, the thought of Ken in a Speedo is a little disturbing, though.
Oh, my God. That is so awesome.
I had a neighbor in New Mexico, man. I loved this guy across the street. He was easily in his mid-70s at the time. That dude came out every day in nothing but a Speedo and flip-flops, like in the summers.
I love that.
He was an interesting guy. I can't remember his name for the life of me.
You get to that point in your life where you just don't care.
He didn't care, man.
You just don't give up.
They were retired. I mean, he just sat out in his backyard sunbathing and
all day, just doing my thing.
He'd come out front, and for whatever reason, he had a thing about his driveway being dirty. In New Mexico, you got a lot of dust, so he'd be out there spraying down his driveway, even though water was scarce at times. He's out there just hosing it down.
I love going to the water park, and there's always that French guy. I love it with my speeder. Or the kids are like, oh, my God.
He's in the pool with a cigarette in his mouth.
You have people wearing Speedos, and then on the other end of it, you've got people who are wearing T-shirts and shorts.
Yeah.
Like, is that guy wearing jeans going down the slide? Oh, my God. Aliens. 2 people back-to-back said aliens lock their doors when they fly by Earth. We do have an issue. Let's be real. We are the trailer park. I'm not lying. That's why we haven't seen him yet. Will there be a recession? Won't there be a recession? A lot of you have chimed in on that. I don't know if there's going to be a recession. I think there's going to be one. It's how big is the recession going to be? That's it. How big is it going to be? Is it going to be one where we really feel it, 2008? Probably not. Is it going to be one where it's going to be uncomfortable a while? Absolutely. I think for a bit. The question is, what do we look like on the other side, and how much time will Trump and the Republicans have to get things moving? Because this is the way, unfortunately, politics works. You know they're rooting for a recession. They want there to be a recession, but they need there to be a recession not this quarter, a few quarters away from now, because that'll help the Democrats. If there was a slowdown this time and stuff picks up through the summer, well, Trump can always go, look, that was all on Biden's watch. I've only been here, 6 weeks. You can't blame that on me. No chance. So it's timing, right? That's a big thing with a lot of this stuff. It's about timing. Speaking of timing, guys, he's saying he's not going anywhere. Bell, remind everybody what ain't easy.
Poping ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
There's no indication that Pope Francis is going to resign. That is completely not, on the table at all, and not talked about here in the Vatican at all. I think it's important to underline that, Pope Francis is confined to his hospital room for now. There's no indication of when he might hopefully be discharged from hospital, but he is still working from his hospital room, according to the Vatican. He has been joining Vatican business and meetings via video link.
Pope, it ain't easy. He can't even rest and get well because he's got to pope so much. He's over here poping. He's over there poping. Poping here, poping there, poping everywhere.
Here a pope, there a pope.
Everywhere, pope. Oh, now I'm going to get it from you guys. I'll probably hear more from the Catholics than I will from the midgets.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
By the way, speaking of that new movie opens up this weekend. The Snow White.
Oh, the live version?
The live version, by the way, where the little guy from Game of Thrones.
Peter Dinklage?
He bitched about, they're still making us dwarves. Well, the movie's about dwarves as well, right? Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. And you bitched about it. And so instead of having 7 actual like tiny people, right? Like dwarves, whatever, they have none. So 7 people don't get to work because you felt it was beneath them. Thank you. How do you think they feel?
I'm sure there are plenty of actors with dwarfism that would have been happy to play those roles.
Yeah. How do you think they feel? Oh, we're very upset. That's probably how they feel. They're throwing a little fit.
Peter got his, so to hell with the rest.
Exactly. Right? First it was Warwick Davis, and then Peter Dinklage. And at first, let's be real, Billy Barty.
Yes, that is good. Very true.
The greatest of all of the little people, Billy Barty. Just I watched an episode the other day of Little House on the Prairie where he had to go in and save the Nancy.
And Billy did a ton of Saturday morning live shows, too.
Oh, yeah.
He was on a Little House on the Prairie episode?
Yeah, it was a 2-parter where Nancy fell in a well and Mrs. Olsen hated him, thought he was weird, but he went and saved her anyway, like doing Billy Barty. But Billy Barty was Sigmund of Sigmund and the Sea Monster. Yeah. Right? Just want to point that out. Johnny and Scott were friends. It's phenomenal.
The things that the Little House on the Prairie covered, they even covered heroin addiction.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's right. God, that was crazy. They did all kinds of stuff.
Of course, back then, you got your heroin directly from your doctor.
Yeah, well, it was different. You know how, come on. Times were different. We weren't quite sure. We didn't have the FDA we have now.
Coca-Cola still had cocaine in it.
That's it. You can snort it or drink it. The choice is yours. You're still going to feel great. We're going to wrap it up straight ahead on this beautiful Monday. It's the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. We're having fun here in the magical world of talk radio. We just talked about the giant Loch Ness monster. Coming up next, aliens. Joining us now. When I left here,
speaking of aliens,
your hair looked different than it does now.
That is correct. My hair looked different than it does now when I got up this morning.
Tell us.
I corrected the error.
The error?
Well, I didn't. Jamie did.
Okay.
From Shameless Plug's Uncle Classic Barbershop in Brentwood.
So
Jamie.
What you're telling me is your singing haircut wasn't as singing as you thought it was going to be.
The singing barber was a nice guy. I don't blame him. I blame perhaps a lack of communication. But I didn't want a mullet. I didn't ask for a mullet, and so we took care of the mullet.
Us wanting a mullet for you was not the same thing. I think there were too many cooks in the kitchen.
There were a lot of cooks, and there was a lot, and so I was left with, even the night of, and and honestly, Noah Peters, he's a fine guy, cuts a fine head of hair. I don't know that he knew what he was doing in terms of what we wanted from him.
Yeah,
but there was a moment on stage where I thought, should I tell him to fix this? And I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. Not in front of a crowd of people. He seems like he's got places to go. His back's hurting him. So I fixed it. Or Jamie fixed it.
Yeah, Jamie did. Looks good, man.
Oh, thanks.
Good. You still left a little length. I like that.
Yeah. No, I didn't want it short in the back, but
no. You wanted to be able to have a little bit of a party, but it's like soft.
You get to look at this. Is the first look, everybody.
You yacht rocked it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because yacht rock is like when you want to rock, but it's not that hard.
Yeah, I want to rock, but I'm 50. Come on.
I might have to get a new hip soon, so that's how hard.
You ever see the Nate? I feel this in my bones. There's a Nate Bargatze bit where he says, in your 20s, you're like your buddy calls
up for anything.
Yeah, anything. Yeah. What? Where are we going? All right, never mind. I'm there.
Do I need a passport?
Let's go.
I'm good.
Let's go. In your 30s, you're like, how loud's it going to be?
Yeah.
How late?
Parking.
What?
It's parking late.
Yeah, is there going to be parking?
I'll drive myself.
And by your 40s, you're like, I'm not going.
No, they're calling me. They want me to go out. I'm going to put that down.
I don't even care anymore. You had a nice trip, I suppose?
I did. It was a lot of fun. Someone else saw my family, and my little sister got married, and we had a good time, and it was quite a party, to say the least. My little brother got cut off the drinking. It was an open bar at a wedding where they had a security guard cut my brother off.
What?
Yeah, he drank a lot.
That's congratulations to your brother. Did you tell him congratulations at a later date?
He's always
later time.
Like my mom's like,
that's nice.
He's always when he goes out to drink. It's the years of hockey, hanging out with Canadians, drinking all the time, drinking and fighting. That's the Canadian way, even though he's not Canadian. But he was. I said, Tristan, I hope you didn't drive here. And his girlfriend goes, we didn't. We took the limo. And he goes, I don't think she's telling the truth. I don't think that's true. I don't think that she's a liar. It was.
She's a known filthy liar.
Yeah. And it was just like, okay.
I don't even know.
But he was hammered. He told me he'd been drinking since noon. I'm like, the wedding started at 5. He goes, I was totally drunk when I was standing up there.
Oh, that's nice. That's good. I used to go on these golf trips with like 20 guys. And the drinking would start Wednesday when we got there, and would end Sunday when we left, and it was insanity. And like guys are popping beers at being out until 2:00 in the morning, and then popping beers at like 7:30 at tea time.
Yeah, tea time.
It's like you just get back on the ride and ride again.
Yeah, just drink until
can't do that anymore.
No, God no, not in live.
Now I don't drink, and I get up and I feel hungover, and I don't understand that. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm 51 years old. Am I supposed to feel hungover?
Well, that was his big thing. He comes down the day after the wedding, and he was absolutely just beyond drunk. And I'm like, how did you get home? He goes, I don't know, but they said I threw up all over the front yard. And but he comes down the next day to proclaim, I don't have a hangover.
Oh, well, good for you. Neither do I.
I'm like, my God, you kids and your drinking and your
kids. How much younger?
He's 20. He's my nephew that my mom's adopted. He's 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's supposed to be doing that kind of
stuff. Yeah, that's what he's.
Just don't drive.
He's got a brand new Tesla, and he keeps telling me I'm just daring somebody to do something.
Might mess with his Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're attacking Cybertrucks now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he said that when he went to get his Tesla, they said most of the stuff has been to Cybertrucks. It's not to other Teslas.
Oh well, isn't that nice?
He goes, but I'm daring because I want to break somebody's jaw.
Does he? Well. It's a good way to do it.
Oh, my God. What are you talking about today?
Well, we'll break a couple of jaws. I have a story that's going to take old school Nashville back to the day. The Nashville Foot Stomper. I'm very excited about this story.
I'm excited for it, too. I'm a foot stomper.
The Nashville foot stomper who lived and breathed in Nashville, Tennessee for over 15 years. We're going to talk about this today, amongst other things like Donald Trump, USAID. There's a lot of stuff going on.
There you go. Matt Murphy, straight ahead. Chad Benson Show. You guys have a good one. Super Talk 99.7.